welcome back to Red Ted Art TV. If you're watching this, you love Harry Potter. First things first, tell me, which house are you in? Are you a Ravenclaw? Are you a Hufflepuff? Are you a Gryffindor? Or are you a Slytherin? Anyway, Red Ted Art TV is a long form video where you get to sit back and enjoy and watch your favorite videos in detail. So I've got 3 Harry Potter crafts for you today to check out. You can watch them individually down below if you want, they're all linked. And even better, if you do love Harry Potter, I've got a whole Harry Potter playlist down below with even more Harry Potter DIYs. So do check that out as well. But come on, let's see what our first Harry Potter craft is today. Yes, you guessed it, the first Harry Potter craft are our magical wands. They're super fun to make. They use recycled materials as well as some nature finds. But come on, let's take a look and see how they're made. Greetings, wizards and witches and Harry Potter fans. Today we're going to show you how to make these awesome Harry Potter wands. Now, I've challenged Amy Lacurto from Living Lacurto and myself. We've challenged each other to come up with some Harry Potter crafts and foodies. And if you look up here, there, you will see Amy's fantastic butterbeer cupcakes. Take a look, they look amazing. So that's our challenge to each other. So if you're having a Harry Potter party, check out these amazing wands with these extra nature features and Amy's butterbeer cupcakes. Now what you will need to make your Harry Potter wands is a chopstick. Something from nature. In our case, we have a tiny little pine cone, or like I said, here's a stone, here's an acorn. A hot glue gun. Now this is really important. Normally I do crafts that you can also do without things like a hot glue gun, just normal ordinary glue, but in this case you do need a hot glue gun, and if you don't have one you might have to experiment and see if you could replace it with, I don't know, wrapping string or something similar, but I think a hot glue gun works really well. And then different coloured paints. So I've got some acrylic paints here that we're going to use later, different ones. But to begin with, you only need these things. Actually, I say that, but I also have some amazing gold, and I'm going to begin by painting my pine cone gold. Now on these ones, I have to admit, I actually painted the acorn blue afterwards, so you don't have to paint it first. So, it's a choice thing. I just thought it might be a little bit easier. So I'm already heating up my hot glue gun because I want this to be really hot and runny. You will need at least 1 hot glue gun craft stick, so do be warned that it does take a lot of hot glue gun craft stick material, whatever you want to call it. So we begin by painting your little pine cone gold. In my case, it depends what paints you can get hold of. If you can't find the paints that I have, fair enough, because we've all got different things in the house, but I quite like gold. But if you could also you could leave it plain, like a natural looking wand. I mean, the stone here isn't painted, or you could have it black, for dark powers. So yeah, so you finish painting this. I'm going to put it to the side and let it dry. And then once it's dry, ta-da-da, here's one I did earlier. You get your chopstick, take one of them only, and you position it. You might have to cut off a little bit at the end, I don't know, it depends on what you've got. But firstly, so this is how you get started. You just start by taking a hot glue gun and wrapping it around. This is not an exact science, it really is just making it up as you go along. So I'm going to put quite a lot on here. This is sort of creating the handle shape. Like so. So okay, so you can start seeing I'm going to make it a bit thicker here now. I love how it looks when it's clear, but it will dry, and it will dry looking matte, but it doesn't matter because you're going to paint it anyway. So here we go, and then you basically hold it on like so. Now you have to hold it a little bit and wait for the hot glue to set just a little bit, or you hold it upright like that. It does take a while and it is a bit boring. In the meantime, I'm going to put another glue stick in because the one I had in there was already used a little bit. And you also need to add extra, I don't know if you can see it because I'm holding it, push it up. Don't worry if it falls over a little bit. The hot glue is hot for a while. You do want to add extra all around the base because that will really secure it. And the good thing about the acorn and the, well, not the acorn so much, but the pine cone and the stone, mine were textured, so that means that the hot glue gun could really kind of get stuck in and get a grip, if that makes sense. Right, I need to have, so now I'm going to just hold that in place for a couple of minutes. It will take a couple of minutes. It is a little bit boring, but it is totally worth the wait. And whilst that's doing it, I'm going to get my next stick in. So let's wait just a few minutes. Like so. Literally hold it. It is boring, like I say, you have to wait. And with this one, because the stone's really heavy, but it gives the wand a nice feel, I had to wait quite a long time. You might want to rotate it a little bit whilst you're doing it, because if you're holding it in one direction, you'll find your hot glue will start dripping in one way. But that, again, doesn't matter, because it kind of all adds to the sort of natural textury charm of your wand. You want them to look special and different, don't you? So let's wait. Okay, so you can see it's starting to you know, get a bit non-clear, what's called opaque. So you know it's a little bit set. I mean, mine's still a bit soft, I can feel it. So you can either wait for it to dry a little bit more or proceed with caution. If you're like me, you're a little bit impatient. Now what you need to do is you need to choose what kind of pattern you want on your wand. Do you want to have like sort of ripples going all the way down? Or do you just want a little bit of patterns? You know, totally your choice, and you just add the details that you like. I'm going to go for one a little bit like this. I quite like the little rings. If you're doing the wiggly one, all you have to do is go round and round and round with the glue. But I'm going to keep it a little bit simpler, and I'm going to do a few lines down here, like so, just to give it the wand a bit of texture. Don't mind about the sort of hot glue gun threads that you get. You can kind of remove those later. So I'm just going to do some little lines like so, and those little threads that will stick out we'll just get off later. And now I'm going to add, let's make sure my hot glue gun is all ready. I'm going to add, you see that? Yeah. So I'm just squeezing a circle of glue all the way around, and I'm just twisting my chopstick as I go around, like so. If you're doing this with younger children who can't control the hot glue gun yet, that's fine. What you can do is you could prepare all the sticks and they could just paint them. But again, depends on what you want to do. So I'm going to put some more down here. Twisting it as I go around. And one more. So it doesn't matter too much if you need to have a little break. Get a little bit soft. And then once you've done that, you let it all cool fully before you start painting. So there we go. So I'm going to let that cool now, and actually have a little container here which is really good. You can just rest it and let it dry. But actually I'm going to just check that all my surfaces, I'm just going to balance it and let it dry like that. So it's dry now and it's ready to start painting. So I've got two different colours here. It's a black and like a browny ochre thing. I didn't have the colour that I wanted, so I'm just going to mix it. I'm going to try and achieve this look over here. So I don't want it to be totally black. So to be honest, I'm just going to mix it up a little bit, but not loads, because I do quite like if it's sort of textured. So you've got a bit of the brown and the black showing at the same time. I think that gives it a sort of a real sort of earthy colour. This is getting a bit too black, so I just go over a bit more brown. And like you can see, it's a genuine, you know, just make it up as you go along. So go all the way down. In fact, this is where it's good to have your acorn, because you can, or your pine cone, because you can hold on to it. What I didn't do actually is I should have gone around and picked off any sort of hot glue gun you know, the threads you sometimes get. But I can still pick those off once the paints have dried. Now the paints I'm using are acrylics, and that they give them a nice finish. It gives it a nice finish. If you haven't got acrylics, do use ordinary paints, but I think you then have to add a varnish too. So get it all the way around. Like you can see, I'm doing it quite thick. I don't know if you can see it. It's quite thick. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. Let's see. Doesn't like it. Yeah, hold it a bit lower down. So the paint's quite thick because then you get a little bit of an additional texture to the you know, the hot glue. So don't worry if you've got bits sticking out, because acrylics will dry and they're a bit, you know, acrylics is a plastic, so it fits in just right with the sort of nature of the hot glue gun. Right, and now I'm going to just get a few more brown bits. I don't know if I've got enough brown out. I'm just going to put a few brown lines on because I quite like that as an effect. Right, there we go. So you can see some nice little brown bits sticking out, and I quite like that, as I say, as an extra effect. Again, I'm going to use my trusted plastic thing. I'm going to use it at one end to hold the pine cone, and at the other just a little line, and then afterwards you might have to add a tiny bit of paint where this is resting, and then let it dry and come back again. So now it's time to add little golden details. So I'm just going to check if I've got any hot glue gun, you know, threads that you sometimes get, and take those off. So got a little bit of gold paint here. Again, if you don't have gold paint, you know, it's not the end of the world. You just have to see what you've got at home and experiment. For example, you might have some glitter glue at home, and maybe that could look really nice. So really have a rummage around and see what you have, and then you can add little details like this. I think glitter glue could work quite well actually. A little bit of silver glitter. So I'm just going to put some golden details on these little knobbly bits, and then I'm almost finished with my wand craft. On these ones I actually painted the acorn at this point as well. I hadn't painted it before, so I mean it just depends on what you think might be easier for you. There we go. And you know, don't worry too much if you make a little mistake. You can always go over with some more paint, or you can, you know, it's part of the handcraftedness of a wand. Here we go. So now I've got the little details. I might have a, let's have a think. Should I add something here? To be honest, I think I'm happy the way it is. Now, so these are our 3 little ones. Remember, Amy Lecurto from Living Lecurto has some butter beer cupcakes over here. Go and have a look. They look amazing and delicious. And I think the combination of these 3 wands and the butter beer cupcakes would look amazing at any party. What do you think? Did you like them? I really love the little acorn and that rock at the end. You could add marbles, you could add gems, you can add whatever you've got at home and really personalise your magical wands. So the next craft we've got is actually really simple, and I love this because it's a nature find. So basically, go out, find some feathers and make your own Harry Potter quills. Let's take a look and see how they're made. Now, if you're a Harry Potter fan and you're so excited about Harry Potter and the Cursed Child coming out soon, or the Cursed Child, you might enjoy making one of these DIY feather quills. Brilliant for Harry Potter fans, and actually anyone who is interested in history. Now these actually work. As you can see, this is what I've written, and I show you in the video how I do this. This is my first attempt, and I'm not an expert at quill writing, so we might have to practice a little bit, but the quills are so easy to make and super fun. This would be great a party activity maybe, or maybe you'd like to make your own quills and write party invites with it. Great for people interested in calligraphy, and obviously great for all Harry Potter fans. So let's get started making our very own paper quills. Okay, so to make your feathers, your quills, sorry, you will need some feathers, preferably ones which are as thick and as long as possible down here, You will need I use some acrylic paints. I have two different brands. This is a System 3 and this is a Studio. This is a gold. To be honest, if just white is great. An experiment, you might have something like Tipex at home, or you might have some other sort of white coverall paint, or you could experiment with nail varnish. You need a nice thin paintbrush, and you will need some scissors and obviously some ink to actually write with. Really, it's about experimenting. Now look, this is what I did for you. I experimented. I tried painting with other paints just to see what would work. I mean, this one's not too bad, but to be honest, in the end I decided let's leave them simple, and I think they look best. So really, honestly, just experiment. So all I did was I got my paintbrush, I've got my white acrylic paint, and then I literally just started adding, I think it's easier this way around because of where the spine is. I started adding some white dots like so. And then I went up and put some white spots on the other side. And then you basically just carry on like that. And until you've sort of decorated it as much as you like. I think with all these things, to be honest, you experiment. And I also think there's something about less is more. So you don't actually need a lot for it to look nice. And I think just white looks nice too. So I know not everyone has gold pens or gold, you know, acrylics. So, you know, I don't want to show you something that you then can't make. And these are feathers from the park. You can give them a little wash if you need to, you know, with a bit of warm soapy water. Just be very gentle. Like so. And I'm kind of following the grain of the feather, but you don't have to, again. Just experiment. To be honest, look, that's so simple, and I think that looks really good already. And then of course, if you want, you can add that contrasting colour. I'll just do it because I've got it. Why not? It's a little bit dry, this gold, so I have to kind of wet it and then, you know, add some golden lines. Now, you might be able to hear some drilling in the background. I'm not sure if you can. There's some building works going on both here in my house and on my road. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be a noisy summer. But you know what? Do you want me to carry on doing videos? Yes, you do. So you'll just have to put up with it. There, I think that's it. I'm happy with that. Just finish off that golden line, and then we'll get on to making the quill. So, of course, you can just find birds' feathers and not decorate them at all, okay? So you don't have to decorate them. I just think it adds a little something. Now, with a quill, so you know, you've got your feather, like so. What you want is you want to cut it open at the bottom and create something that ends up looking like this and like this. So it looks like the nib of a pen, okay? So we're going to cut it at an angle, and then we're going to cut a line down. And this is what allows the hollowed out bit of the feather to absorb some of the ink. And then when you're writing, you can actually, you know, actually holds the ink inside. So I'm holding my feather sideways. I'm cutting diagonally, like so. So you can see, I don't know how well you can see that. I cut that diagonally. Oh, I can't get it to focus, sorry. So I've cut it like this. Now I'm going to turn it forward where I've got that pointy bit, like so, and then I'm going to give it a little snip. Now we've made a few of these, and we found that with some of them the feather broke, and with others it didn't. So to be honest, you just have to start again. So you might want to do your cutting first and your decorating afterwards, so you haven't wasted your time, so to speak. Let's see how well this writes. So I'm going to put this up here to dry and get our ink out. This is the moment of truth. Now, some of the quills work better than others, and my ink's running a bit low. So you can see the ink's gone all the way up there. So tuck it off like that so it doesn't splodge. But to be honest, a few splodges make things look authentic. And then we'll do some writing, and I'm going to write, "Dear friend." There we go, it works, and it looks really authentic. Now it does take some practice. Friend, we are pleased. There we go. What do you reckon? Isn't that amazing! Your very own feather quill. Now it does take some practice to write with. Like you can see, I'm doing some splodges there, and you know, obviously it's a little bit scratchy at first, but that's how quills used to be made. So these are genuine to inform you. There you go. Look at that. Anyway, so this is how you make your own feathered paper quill. I hope you'll have lots of fun with it, experimenting. Don't forget to subscribe to Red Ted Art. We've got some other Harry Potter crafts in the iCards up there and down below. But this also makes for a great project, you know, looking at history or writing or calligraphy even. So, you know, you can experiment with different sized feathers, you know, flatten the nib a bit, see what's going on. And also, once this gets worn, all you do is you give it another cut, and you shorten the nib as you go up. That's what they actually did in the olden days. So even once you you know, finished writing with that, you can still keep using it, and just you keep trimming up and up. Wasn't that easy? Making a real quill is actually really quite straightforward. Writing with it, however, is quite another matter. You might have to take some time and practice. So on to our final Harry Potter craft. What will it be? Okay, you guessed it. It's our paper weaving Harry Potter bookmark. Now we've got lots of bookmarks, as you know, including some corner bookmarks about Harry Potter. Again, I'm going to stick those in the iCards and down below for you to check out. But today it's the paper weaving one. Again, as I asked at the beginning of the video, which house are you and which bookmark will you make first? Welcome back to Red Ted Art. Today we have some very smart, and I'd say quite stylish Harry Potter chevron bookmarks for you to make. They're really easy to make, and I love the little detail of adding the little house badge. But of course you don't have to add those if you don't want to. I think they would look great just in the house colours. So come on then, let's take a look and see how they're made. So you will need for each bookmark 4 strips of paper. Now these are 25 centimeters. It's basically the length of an A4 sheet of paper, roughly 24 centimeters and 1 centimeter wide. You will also need, if you wish, you don't have to, some, let's see if I can get this to focus, some printables for your house badges, and down below I've got a link where I've just picked these out for you in different types because I know people like the different ones. I've chosen this one because I think they're quite fun. You need a little bit of glue stick, obviously some scissors, and then you can get started. But remember, cutting these strips of paper is a little bit fiddly. I've used one of these cutting machines because it does make it easier. So you might want an adult to help you because it can be fiddly, and you know, you don't want to get cross or annoyed. First thing you need to do is get your 2 pieces of the red. Now I'm using the red first because I want the house colour to show first on my bookmark. So I think the main house colour for Gryffindor is the red. So you take a little bit of glue, or you can get a glue dot or some sellotape, and glue these together. Now make sure that they're really aligned. So this is a nice rectangle. Now get your glue stick, get your next piece, tiny bit of glue at one end, and again line up with the others. Now these need to be lined up down here like this, and up here needs to be lined up. Make sure it doesn't poke away. It does have to be really straight. The neater you do it, the neater your final bookmark. Get your next strip and align it with this line here, and again right to the edge and lined up that way, lined up that way. So now you can get started. Now most people just fold, that's great. I like to add a little bit of glue just because I think it makes your final bookmark more stable. You don't have to, but I like to. So again, it's your choice. I'm going to keep alternating. So this is the last one I glued down, so now I'm going to go to the other side, add it the tiniest bit of glue, and then you fold it over, making sure everything's aligned as neatly as possible, she says, not doing it neatly. Then you take a little bit of glue. Again, you don't have to do the glue, I just like it. I think it helps stabilize it. And you take this side, and again you fold it over. and so on. I'll do one more and then we'll speed the video up. Okay, so that's your basic chevron bookmark finished. Now you just trim it off. That's my lid of my glue falling down. Trim those off. And you have your basic bookmark done. So you could just leave it like that now, and I think it would still make a really good Harry Potter DIY. But if you want to add that extra bit of detail, like I've mentioned, cut out the badge, and I've got those down below. You know, you can choose the one you like best and stick it on. So I'm just going to speed this bit up because I'm going to try and cut it as neat as possible, and it will take a little bit of time. And there you go. Aren't they lovely? Let's see what it looks like in our book. Oh my goodness. I think that's simply perfect. And of course, you can have your favourite house bookmark. Now, remember we've got a whole playlist on Harry Potter, so do check that out as well. I'll make sure it's linked at the end. They all look great. I really do hope that you love this episode of Red Ted Art TV and all about Harry Potter. Now, if you want to see some more Harry Potter crafts here on Red Ted Art, do let me know down below. Let me know what kind of crafts you're looking for, and I'll see what I can do, because we do love Harry Potter. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you here on Red Ted Art TV again soon. Take care. Bye.